First thing I just want to read this day in 1954 from the Equal Justice Initiative calendar. U.S. Border Patrol begins, in quotes, Operation Wetback, in which agents deport more than 1 million people to Mexico and stop, quote, Mexican-looking people on the street to demand identification. So, another day in history, another anniversary of another racial injustice. So, appreciate this from EJI calendar, and I'll have another one for you tomorrow.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. We'll get right into questions. The first one is going to be from Dwayne.
Hey, Rick, how you doing today?
Good. Hey, Dwayne.
Okay. Rick, what have you seen from KP in practice so far, and what did you learn about him during that 7-game stretch before the All-Star break when he took his game to another level after Luka got hurt?
Well, he's had a great, I guess we've had 5 days of practice total. He's been terrific. He's been very great at both ends. Offensively, I really love the way that he is using the space on the floor. He's mixing up rolls and pops, really getting a great chemistry with his teammates. And defensively, he's one of the best rim protectors in the game. And so, we're seeing that in the practices as well. So he's doing really well, really as is everybody. And, it's pretty clear to me that as we've, moved along further in time, he just feels more in rhythm. Conditioning looks real good, and the connection and the chemistry with teammates continues to really be there.
As we go into these games without fans, Rick, what type of player, in your opinion, plays well with no fans in the stand?
Well, there's going to be fans in the stands. They're just not going to be. They're going to be virtual fans. They're going to be digital boards all over the arenas. There's going to be home team sounds. There's going to be more camera angles than we ever could have imagined before for an NBA game because of the lack of fans in the seats. It just allows more camera placement. And so it's really going to be a compelling situation. We practiced today in a building that, adjacent to the practice area is one of the game venues. And so, I went behind the curtain to check it out, and it's really interesting. And I think it's going to be really cool.
All right. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Next up is Brad, live from the bubble.
Hey, Coach. Well, following up on that, had you not seen any of the playing venues before today?
Well, we've had calls where the league has gone over, what the environment's going to look like and the settings and PowerPoint decks of pictures and so on and so forth. But to actually set foot in it today was really cool, And but the NBA is one of the all-time most creative sports leagues in history. I mean, you talk about being inventive when adversity hits. This is just tremendously cool, and so we'll look forward to playing those games. Practices continue to move along. We've been in 4 different practice venues in 5 practice days. So that's been interesting too, to see how they've been able to, set this place up for maximum efficiency.
And can you give us a sense of how practice is being broken down? How much time you're getting to spend on scrimmaging versus just continuing to do sort of individual work?
Well, look, these guys did more individual work than they've ever done, in the 2 months prior to coming down here. And so, we have 3-hour practice blocks. We get some body work get a lot of shooting, and then we get, a mixture of different things every day, but we're working into more 5-on-5. We've had our starting group together for the last several days. Tomorrow we'll probably mix it up and change the teams up to a little bit, just so different guys can play with one another. And it's been all good. It's been all positive. So and the guys are revved up and really into it every single day. The thing that's going to be a little different the next few days is, after having the first 5 practices at either 2 or 5 p.m., tomorrow's is at 10 a.m. And then we have a couple of blocks of 9 a.m. practices, and then there's an 8:30 one that's coming up at some point in the next several days. So that'll be an adjustment, but we'll be fine.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question is going to be from Sam Amick.
Hi, Rick. Good to see you. Hope you're hanging in okay.
All good, Sam.
I wanted to get your perspective on the coaching experience here for both you and obviously you have such a good pulse on all of your peers. I talked to Stan Van Gundy yesterday, and he's going to be in there in a media capacity, but Stan brought up the word overwhelming potentially when you're talking about coaches who are faced with the personal situation where you don't have your families with you like you normally would. You have players who don't have their families. How do you change the way that you stay connected with your players from a mental health standpoint, and just overall, how does it change the way you attack this coaching challenge?
Well, the first thing has just been talking to our guys about the opportunity here and how historic this is, and to look at it as something that's very special. There's been a lot of complaining from some different players and so on and so on. I mean, that stuff's been pretty public. But our guys they've embraced this as really most likely a once in a lifetime opportunity. As I said yesterday, this is like going to basketball camp. But instead of, being in a cabin, in a hard bed and not enough blankets, or, being at a university and in a dorm, we're in a first class resort, and we got armies of people doing everything that they can do to make us comfortable and make the environment friendly. And so, it's just really cool. And look, being away from the families is very challenging. There's no question about that. But we've got some inventive ways, look, Zoom calls aren't that inventive anymore, but we got some other things that we're doing to help the families stay connected, that I'm not going to get into, but, time continues to go by pretty quickly. And so, we'll just keep riding the wave here, as the challenges, increase, as more time away from the family stacks up. We're just going to have to adjust and find a way to make it a positive. And the family aspect of it really is the most difficult part.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sam. Our final question for Rick is going to be from Coop.
Hey, Rick, just wondering, because a lot of people have asked me, is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with you guys? Is all 12 of your supposed healthy players working with you guys right now?
Well, we're working to get him here logistically, and we hope that happens soon.
Okay. And as far as your practicing is concerned, when you scrimmage, how much do you scrimmage at this point, like special situations, last 2 minutes of games and things that you want to run? Is that as important as just the general getting them up and down the floor?
It is, and we're doing a lot of 2 and 3 minute scrimmages, and playing to win and doing all the situations with clock stopped and 2 for 1 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and as you look at the calendar and you try to calculate where the off days come and so on and so forth, there's a finite number of practice days, and so we're studying it very carefully, and we're gonna do everything possible to get the right mix of situational stuff along with the kind of macro feel, go up and down, play with your teammates, rhythm, chemistry, and those kinds of things. But so far, the 5 days that we've had have been terrific.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Talk to you tomorrow.